Hey guys, so it's hi again. Simon says this. If you're new here, welcome. Um, if you guys know, many of us, particularly in California, know about this guy named Kevin Paffrath. He's the leading Democrat to replace Gavin Newsom. He's this good, famous YouTuber and self-made millionaire too. He posted this video right now, and I'll go ahead and show you the video I'm talking about. Make sure you guys can hear this too. Hold on a second. Share sound. There it is. Okay. He shared he posted this video on his YouTube channel where he blatantly lies about his positioning and like how the recall election is going on for Gavin Newsom. I'll just go ahead and play this, and then we'll look at the data.
The state of our state, essentially, the state of our state, gotten worse or better? Everything's gotten worse. And so when we were campaigning together to fight Governor Gavin Newsom, we started winning. In fact, the polls were showing just that. We saw a tightening in the likelihood of Governor Gavin Newsom being recalled. Take a look at this. Very early on in the process here, Governor Gavin Newsom had massive leads here in terms of being kept. 13% leads, 14%, 11%, 13%. Here's a 3, a 4, or 1 for remove, whatever. But these are all pretty much keep Governor Newsom, right? But as soon as moderates started campaigning, things got a little tighter. Remove, 3, or a tie once adjusted. We got down to 5, 1, 6, 3 to keep Newsom. Things started getting really tight for him. And then this poll came out showing Gavin Newsom getting removed by 8 points or being kept by a very, very tight margin. This, by the way, here, this August 2nd poll is actually the same poll that showed me as a leading candidate on August 2nd to August 4th versus Larry Elder. There were some other polls that had me in the lead as well or tied. And so what's interesting is when we were focused on moderate policies in California, the existing governor was a failure. And beating him was very, very almost easy. And nobody wanted.
Beating him was very easy. So what he showed you refers to this poll, where again, he's the leading Democrat here, far under Elder here at this point. So he brings you up to about here at the very beginning of August. And when I saw this video, I was thinking like, oh, that's kind of weird. Why wouldn't he show the last month? Like that's kind of really important, right? Because it's like the most recent data. The reason why is because it looks like this. You see from the most recent data, 11, 8, 16, 12, 11, 16. That's about as serious as keep as it has ever gotten. Back here where he was pointing like, oh my gosh, he's really like, leading the keep, right? There was only 116. Now there's 2 of them, and 11, 12, 11 again, 13. But he didn't want to show you that because he wanted to cherry pick his data to try to fool his followers into thinking that he actually like stood a very serious chance. And to encourage them all the more to be like, no, keep fighting, keep fighting. And it's, and it's sort of funny because it's like, well, is that really such a problem though? It's, like he's a politician, he's just trying to like, try to win as much as he can, The problem that I have though, is that he didn't have to do this. He didn't have to lie to people and, cherry picking your data when there's this image of the truth and you look at this little square and you say, look at this, this is the picture, right? I'm technically not lying because this is part of the truth. But see, in leaving out all of this, you're lying because you're misleading people. And all of a sudden, what the little square you have, the image that you show is not representative at all of the actual picture. And so it is so far from the truth that it becomes a lie. Disappointing is an understatement. And on top of that, I actually tried to tell people about what I found out. And what I said was to them, I said, hey guys, Kevin lied about closing the gap on the keep and remove polls for Newsom. Check out the website he used. There it is. Sorry guys, I know you wanted someone who wasn't a bad person this time. And he blocked me. I kept reposting over and over and over again. I even put it onto my channel. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and pull up that video. Trying to make sure that, even though he took down, what I was, what I was saying on his channel, that it would still be there. And so I have this video up now saying that, calling him out and saying he straight up lied to try to manipulate people. And that's really sad because see, Kevin represents a millennial Democrat outsider. And for him to do these sorts of things that are so blatantly manipulative and have all these people on top of that, all these people, we need someone like Kevin elected. I remember someone else saying that you're like the best person that I've seen to, oh, there it is. Kevin, love your authenticity, brother. Authenticity. Yeah, this is the antithesis of that. Blatantly lying to people and not showing the most incredibly important data as a part of, the data that you're displaying, the picture that you're displaying here. That being the most recent for several, for, a multitude of weeks here. And it, not being what you want to show. And so instead you say, okay, here, let me cherry pick this and make it into exactly what I want. And so I can manipulate people into further, believing that, there's all this great reason to continue fighting when there, isn't as much as we would like, as much as he would like. Before I didn't totally like him. I thought there were some things that he would bring up that I was like, yeah, that's really self-interested of him. That's really, really self-interested. And bring up continuously, just as an example, oh, the regulations of how long it takes to get some person to come in and check on your AC unit or something like that. It would take so long, and it's we got to cut back this red tape, and sort of trying to get people to think about the issue of oh my gosh, we want deregulation because big government bad, which is not totally wrong. But see, he's a real estate agent, and what he does is he gets properties for cheap, renovates them, and then rents them out. He's entirely self-interested to have deregulation in that area. And when there are so many issues that are affecting people in this country, between taxes and veteran affairs, the immoral leveraging of taxes that we have in this country, 50% of people are paying twice what they own. The lack of mental health education in schools, when suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the country, stuff like that. It's just really sad to look at that and be like, oh, yeah, he's trying to get himself into power so he can, get even more for himself. He's self-centered, and then showing things like this sort of side to himself just really cements that reality of, nope, he's no different. I'm really sorry, guys. I know you wanted someone who wasn't a bad person this time. And that's horrific. It's just sort of is there no one who is good in politics? Does that just not exist? Or does just simply power corrupt? Absolutely. Which is sort of funny because the whole adage is supposed to be that power corrupts, but then only absolute power corrupts absolutely. But as far as our society is concerned, it really looks like absolute power corrupts absolutely. And you know what? Thankfully, there are a few very rare exceptions, like Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi. But hell, even them, Mahatma Gandhi was, a womanizer. He was a flawed person, but he still did, great things. And the reason why, by the way, I'm showing you this video is the connection between Kevin Paffrath and Jordan Peterson, this very well-known intellectual in our society, and the sorts of people that are really at the forefront of influence in our society. People who do things that do what he's about to do, which I'm about to show you. Bit of context. So first, the person he's talking to calmly, genuinely, you can again watch this video of mine, but they calmly brought up the fact of suicide being a very big problem for people who are trans, specifically in the cases where they're rejected their basic humanity, of having their base identity recognized, and on top of that, the historicity, the reality that a single they pronouns dates back several hundred years. And Jordan Peterson here is trying to defend his position of like, I don't support the legislation saying that like you need to like not purposely misgender someone viciously, and I also don't personally want to use single they. And he uses a lot of fallacious reasoning throughout this entire thing. But one of the worst things that he does is this thing right now where he's about to respond to the person bringing up those two arguments, suicide and historicity. But yeah, here's how he responds.
To this as a psychologist, and you're almost impossible to talk to.
I'll keep going.
You're so full of rhetoric.
Oh crap! I just realized that I wasn't sharing sound. Oh no, it's there. Okay.
That it's impossible to listen to. I was more than happy to listen to rhetoric. Yeah, you're listening to rhetoric. Yes, actually, I don't really think I am a rhetorician.
Okay, really quickly, I'm gonna get back. I don't know why I didn't look up the. I just realized this right now. I don't know why I didn't look up like the actual just video itself. But let's go in for fast forward here. An academic doesn't even think to himself singular they pronoun. He does. Yeah, he is. I'm talking about like how he's as an academic, it's not like looking up the historicity of it when people are bringing up these realities to him, and he doesn't even bother as an academic to look these things up or double check himself just in case he's wrong, because he's arrogant and self-absorbed and a narcissist. To talk to, you're impossible to talk to. And then let's see. Oh my gosh, is that it? You're impossible to listen to, you're impossible to talk to, you're full of rhetoric, trying to be very dismissive and try to put the blame on the other person for why he doesn't have a response, because you're impossible to listen to. How could I possibly have a response if you're impossible to listen to? When they brought up, and he says also like you rattle on, when they brought up two concise, very real, significant realities, suicide and historicity. And then just seeing this now from him where he blatantly lies about what was actually like going on, and then goes on to block me for pointing it out. It scares me, I think, because not just because of like how things have been in our society with corruption, how things seemingly are now, but just the idea that like we'll never be able to get out of it. And that's a really terrifying reality, because there's some really, really horrific things going on. And in light of that, I've been inspired to write a speech talking about the realities of corruption in this country that I'm planning to give I'm planning to give publicly very soon, as soon as I get some materials that I need. Like something to hold up my phone while I'm recording and stuff like that. And I'll be posting it here on YouTube. It's terrifying though, to think about the hole that we're in, that we don't have seemingly any way to get out of, that the walls are just slippery as all hell, and there's no ladder, there's no rope, there's nothing. And there's no one outside. We are trapped on this rock together. We're all in this hole. No one has a way out. And that's fucking terrifying. And every single time someone comes up and says, hey guys, I'm different. Look at me. I'm good. I'm honest. They do a 180 and they fuck everyone else over for their own interests. Seemingly every single fucking time. I mean, is there just something fucked about inherently about the human condition, that we have this corruption that's just inescapable? when there are genuinely good people out there. But for some reason, they never get into power. I mean, it really does look like the only people who get into power are the corrupt ones. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, because the system itself is horribly, horribly corrupt. With things like super PACs, you know, allowing people to just buy our elections because they don't have limits. Even though normal PACs do, and because we don't want our elections to be bought. But the only difference between limited PACs, normal PACs, and super PACs is that they can't coordinate with the candidate. But then it's been documented several times in recent times that they do exactly that and even flaunt it. And I go over that in my speech. So keep an eye out for that when I post that. But yeah, again, disappointment is a fucking understatement. I'm genuinely horrified by our reality sometimes, and just the sheer amount of people who seem to just offer all the greatest and all the promises in the world, and then they just shit on you as soon as they can. But in any case, I suppose that's all I really wanted to show. And man, I hope he doesn't win. But it doesn't matter, because Gavin Newsom isn't any better, nor is Larry Elder. They're all terrible. And at that point, it's just sort of like, does the lesser of two evils even exist? Is that even like something you can distinguish? Because they all look the same. They all look actually terrible. Like, it just doesn't even matter. But I think there's actually a way to get around that. I think there's actually ways to get around that. And I thought about this for a while, and I don't want this video to be too long, but I think the next video I'm going to make, which is probably like right now, as soon as I end this, is going to be exactly about what the system would look like from my perspective, of what the system would look like in a world where corruption was to be as mitigated as possible. And I know that's a very grandiose statement, but I think it could actually, if it could ever be a thing, I think it actually could work. You would just have to, well, again, I want to save the details for the next video, but yeah, and that's all I really want to say about this video. Fuck Kevin Paffrath, fuck Larry Elder, fuck Gavin Newsom. They're all fucking liars, and they're all manipulative sociopaths. And you know, that intellectual, if you even want to call him that, is one of them as well. That Canadian pseudo-intellectual. Christ. Anyways, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Peace.